Whenever you're ready.
But yeah, man, we're going. So yeah, as we say, 11th episode, we're back, refreshed, re-energized. It feels like we've not filmed for time.
That's been a long time. Has been a while. Been a good week off though. Been fresh, very nice.
Yeah, it feels like
a week off.
It feels like a nice, re-energized restart. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you're our fourth guest. Third official guest, because he was a guest, our first. Don't really count.
He's our resident DJ, isn't it? That's what it is.
Doesn't really count, do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you're like the third official guest, do you know what I mean? So you're in some good company, the people that have come on. But yeah, man, like, how you been? Like, how you doing in general, bro? Like, what's good? What can you tell us? Anything cool going on?
Yeah, man. Well, I've been good. Like, just obviously enjoying the fact that we're out of lockdown finally. We're able to like just chill, vibes out, see the homies. It's been a while. But like throughout lockdown and stuff, I've just been working on music. Like, I got my debut album coming out end of this month called The Conception Drive, and that's about like the urge to change your circumstances. So like my style of music is like more conscious hip hop and like a bit of trap and like just mixing in between that sort of vibe. So like I'm just excited to get the people to hear like what I've got coming, really, man. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be.
I can imagine, man. So you're still grinding, and even when throughout lockdown and that, you've still been grinding away. And
yeah, man. If anything, like while the music scene's been a bit quieter, like I've been finding it more fun just to like pump music out rather than being like stagnant. Because that's what I've realised in the past is one of them ones that like just makes you lose sense of self and where you want to go on the journey, and you're just like sort of lost hearing all these other types of music, and then it's like once you find your own path again, you're like, all right, cool, but then you might be like 5 steps behind, innit?
Yeah,
so I've just been trying to just make sure.
A few people we spoke to have said the same thing. I think like whilst lockdown, it's been a bit of a blessing for them, innit? Do you know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
You can just get your head down. Obviously, everyone's staying in and whatnot, and then you can just focus on your music. You've got a good excuse to crack on with it. Haven't you?
Exactly.
It's just making your own way, innit? But yeah, it's good to see that you're still grinding.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
it. Yeah, that's good, bro. So it's like I wanted to like take it like straight back to the beginning, yeah. So for example, what was it like? Where did you grow up? How was it like growing up for you as a kid and stuff like that? And like, how did you finally find music and turn it into a part of your life rather than something that you're just listening to? You know
yeah, man. So like, I was born in Coventry, and then I moved to Birmingham when I was about 8 years old. So I'd come from like an area where it was like more multicultural and mixed, and then I moved to like an area where it was more like predominantly white kids. So like me and my brothers, like in an all white school, it was like hard to adapt at first, but then like when I'm at home and stuff, my mum and dad were playing like bare different types of music, like Erykah Badu, Bob Dylan, Bob Marley, like Guns N' Roses. There were so many different types of music that I was hearing. So like I think it was when I was about 9 years old or something, I heard Encore, Eminem. My brother like snuck it in the house or something. We were still kids then, so we could listen to that stuff, innit? So I listened to it and I was like, what is this, man? This is pretty mad. So like then I'm hearing like other sounds as well, and then I just started like putting the pen to paper, and then by the time I was like 10, I did my first live show with my own song that I wrote. Because we used to have this thing called a PTA show at the school, so we could like, it was like a talent show sort of thing, innit? So I got my dad to play Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang on the guitar, and I just rapped my own track over it, and then that was like the first live thing that I did, really.
Yeah,
man, it's pretty mad.
That's fair play to you. Hey, but when I was a kid, when I was in like year 7, I did a talent show with one of my mates, me and him, like, this is gonna sound bad shit compared to what you said. Do you know what it was? I'm not even asked about out myself in it, but it was Eeny Meeny Miny Mo with Justin Bieber and what's he called? Sean Kingston. Me and my mate was all singing it, we come second, in year 7, come second, won 25 quid. I was
gassed. I've got one on that, year 5 or year 6, people, if you know, you know, If you probably will be watching, the people who went primary school with will know, we had a talent show, and we had a group, we called ourselves, this is embarrassing, it's called Take This. Take This. Take that. Take This. And you know that tune that was on in the fucking the Sainsbury's adverts, like Shine. That, do you know what Bro, obviously we fucking shelled that down. Sung that in the fucking
show, massive in the
that was the one I remember. But so would you say it's a very musical family? Would you say growing up and stuff
like my dad still plays the guitar, my little brother plays the guitar as well. So like always just been around music, and then like Nigerian culture as well. They love the music over there. So just hearing like always just being around music.
So
like,
are you Nigerian, yeah?
Yeah, Nigerian, Italian, man. Quite an interesting mix. Yeah, man. So my actual name is Roberto. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I bet there's some nice food in your house.
Oh, there's banging food, man. Banging food. We're gonna go back and visit the fam and stuff. Banging food, but like obviously I've picked up the tricks along the way to chef up that sort of vibe.
Come on,
you can't go up like that and not be able to cook that sort of vibe.
In that environment, innit?
Yeah,
you just pick up whatever,
for sure, man. For
music, cooking, whatever it might be, you can just for
sure, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's sick. So you say that you moved to like a predominantly white area. So for someone like yourself, yeah. So you say like a black guy in a black family moving to like you say a white area. How was that transitional period for you? Did you find it easy or whatever, or did you ever face any circumstances that made things
I'd say like at the start it was quite easy getting involved in like just meeting people and stuff like that. People were sound, but then like as I got older, I started realizing the difference between myself and the others, innit? So it was like them making comments or stuff like, oh, can I touch your hair and all that like generic stuff, but you get that in it. It's a bit mad, but then as you get older, you start to like realize yourself more, and then like you can defend yourself in them sort of situations. So if someone actually does something like that to you, you can just be like, fuck off, basically.
No, we keep PG in it, but obviously,
Of course.
Nah, I hear that.
That's
I
what
don't blame you, but
we said this in our last episode, yeah. Like we were talking about like obviously people taking the knee and stuff in football and that. And we were saying like we was trying to give our opinions and stuff on it, but we thought it could be quite ignorant for two white lads who live in like say a predominantly white area to sort of say like, obviously it's bad in it like the things that do go on in the world today, but like yeah, man, it's good that
it's tough for us to speak on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like you're saying, we're two white guys, and we were talking about obviously like issues of racism and shit like that in football, especially.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I feel like with even taking the knee in football, yeah, at the start it was like fair enough, I respect it, but now it's gotten to the point where racism is so much deeper than football anyway. Like fans stopping being racist isn't going to stop racism as a whole, isn't it? You know
that's
what I mean? Because like even if you're not a fan of football, your family could be a fan going to the games being racist, but you come home, the kids that aren't fans of football could still be passing on that sort of like negativity to other people. So it's just deeper than that, and I think the main thing starts at like the higher ups being able to say like, okay, this is what's wrong, rather than making it like us having to sort the problem out. A bit more, that's
a good view of it, and obviously like they put it on so like footballers taking knee and shit like that. Like it's good to see, isn't it? And then people think they're going to take something away from that. But like say, higher up should be doing more than that. Do you know what I mean? Just taking the knee, like you can see it on TV and you think, all right, taking a knee, but
it's all just money and clout, isn't it?
Well,
they just want to keep their whistles clean or whatever.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. They just want to just make sure that they're getting what they can out of it. And everyone's like, all right, they're doing their bit, but you know, it's deeper.
What actually is getting done?
Yeah, trust me.
It's good to see. It's a good movement, but realistically, it's deeper than that.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just how it is at the moment, isn't it? I guess it's just. Hopefully things are going to get better soon. That's the plan. I'm sure about it will, isn't it?
But for sure.
We will see you.
But yeah, man. So like musically now, you say that that's your first experience was performing your own raps over your dad's guitar playing and stuff. So, like, how did you then evolve from that at a younger age and sort of try to evolve your craft and those things there, and actually then move into perform onto rap instrumentals rather than acoustic music?
When I was about 13, took a trip to America with the fam, and then like that's when like T-Pain and Fergie and all this music was popping in it. So I was like driving through like Florida and stuff, like hearing all these new sounds on the radio, like yo, this is mad. Justin Timberlake popping as well. And then like I get back to the UK and like I found like a torrent for FL Studio 7 in it. So I start making beats on that. And then once I'm making beats from that, I'm not having to like find beats online, so I'm just like rapping over my own beats that I'm making, but on like a webcam mic. But you know those really thin, small webcam mics that used to have, like back in the day for like MSN and stuff like that. So I was using like one of those to record and just uploading stuff onto MySpace at the time, and then like connecting with other artists like that. But then as I got older, it was just more so like learning different other sounds and just learning that there's actual recording studios to go to, and then it just sort of like grew like that. So I started doing like a bit more grime and stuff when I was about 14, 15, but then my passion was always for hip hop anyway, so like I found like I could write more like intelligent stuff on hip hop beats, whereas grime is just like da 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 da
da. So that's mad though, like so you got your own system or your own platform there where you started making your own beats in it, and like that's such a good way of looking at it as well. Like, if you make your own beats and then you can just spit over what you like. You make something that's good for you in it, and you think, yeah, I can go over this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can just, early days, you can progress in your music career, and you can just keep learning and see what's better for you.
And it's helps having like that sort of knowledge producing from that young age to now, because now I can use like Ableton a bit, but like just having like the general knowledge of how to like just structure beats from that age just helps knowing how to structure my verses and bars and stuff as well. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, we had Lytech on.
Producer.
We had him on a few weeks ago, and he really honed in on the importance of being able to do everything yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the strains, especially in the music industry and the creative industry in general. Because I can sort of relate to in this certain way there. Like, it's always long having to depend on someone or having to ask someone to do something for you. It's so much better being able to do everything yourself. Being able to do that, you don't have to worry about someone mixing it for you or someone mastering on, doing all these kind of things. Do you know what I mean? So I presume if you wanted to, you could bang out 4 tracks in a day. Pretty much,
And that's also a blessing, just like having my own studio set and yard and like being able to record myself and stuff, which I'd always encourage like young artists to do as well. Because like if you're always going to like a studio environment where you're just with like a load of different artists and engineers and stuff, you're not actually going to learn how to develop your sound, because some MCs are nervous, innit? They won't admit it, but when you're in that sort of environment, you can get nervous, innit? Because you don't know who you're around, innit? So like, for artists to have their own mic at their yard and stuff, they can just go as ham as they want and do harmonies and all your type of stuff you want to do.
You can mix it up, innit? You can try, you can find out what's best for you, innit? That's what it is as well. You can find your own style, and especially if you know what you're doing on different platforms and stuff like that, you can just hone your own style, and then you can take it as you go further on.
For real, man.
I think that's the way, innit?
Yeah, for sure.
I think you're more young artists should be like that, innit? That's why you're good like that, because you've seen both sides of it. You know what I mean?
And like just having like the journey from when I was young to like now when I'm almost 27 years old, it's just being able to watch like other artists do their thing as well, but then I can just see from how my side to either improve on what they're doing or see what they're messing up on, so I don't do that and just stuff like that. So it's just like seeing the game from all angles, really, like just making sure that I'm just on the right track all the time and making sure that I'm not making mistakes that are really simple to see, but sometimes it's just like not that obvious at the time, you know what I mean?
It's always good to have a fresh set of eyes on or ears on something sometimes. I'm saying, like, I can definitely relate to that as well, but yeah, man, so it's like, you say that you used to make grime when you was younger, that's something I'm mad interested in, because grime's like, I love grime music, and for me, grime is the reason why, especially in the UK, I believe that grime is the catalyst for why we have things like Afro beats and why we have UK rap and drill, because all these influences that I put into these genres stem from grime, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So who was you listening to back then, and who was your go-to? Like, obviously, back in the day, the OGs of like Skepta, Wiley, Dizzy. Is it any of those guys, or is it anyone a bit more, a bit more niche? Or
I was loving P Money at this time.
P Money, underrated MC, mate.
Trust me. When he was beefing Gets, oh my days, bro. Like me and my boy, sometimes we used to just skip school to like record music. We'd be watching all these battles, that P Money and Gets having, and be like, yo, he's dropped his send now. He's replied, and that sort of stuff was like lit as fuck, man. So like, there was obviously that. Wiley as well. Wiley's always been a goat anyway. Skepta's like old school stuff before he was doing like the mainstream stuff like on Kiss FM and all that stuff. But I think my main passion with grime was just the energy. Like when you just with your boys in the park and everyone's passing around their Sony Ericssons, you spitting it. That was the vibe.
You got that hard instrumental there, and everyone's jumping on it, going
like
at it.
Coyote rhythm and all that sort of vibe.
That's the thing. Like back then, like. Grime is like, it's definitely like a sport though, isn't it? Like spitting like that, as an MC, it is 100% seen as a sport. Like back in the day, like it was all about, it still is now, but I feel like back then when people did it just for the pure passion of it, the aim wasn't about earning the most money or getting the biggest record. It was about who was just genuinely the best MC. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
so
facts.
I think that's why like all the grime MCs from back then that have evolved and done well on a commercial level, they've taken those same foundations of being a competitor and being good and realising that, it doesn't necessarily have to be the the tune doesn't have to necessarily fit for what's in now. It just they just have to be better than everyone else in the
exactly.
group, you know what I'm saying? That's why they get the longevity from what they do. Do you know what I mean?
And I feel like Chip's like one of the artists that's kept that sort of mentality for time. The way man was just spinning everyone, bro. I was like, geez, but he doesn't quite get the respect that he deserves.
No, he doesn't.
Just because he dipped off in it.
No one can match Chip on freestyles or something like that. Offbeat or something like that, on a send or something like that. Even like when he was sending for Bugsy and that stuff. But Chip, he sends different for people. It's a fact, you know what I mean? Even if we don't maybe respect the tracks that he puts out, like but that album, I weren't really big on it, but on freestyles, on mics, on solo ones,
he's a lyricist.
His shell's different than anyone else.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And it's respected in the scene. It should be, especially.
And it should be like I do like that competitive side as well about grime, where just like sometimes you're just testing your skills because it's all well and good like selling music and getting your plaques and that, but then there's also that element where hip hop does come from that clashing side, grime as well, where battle rap and everything popped off. There was
like you said, it's like a sport and it's competitive. You know what I mean? You want to know who the best spitter is, and there's so many different people in the industry who can be up there. But like someone like Chip is definitely.
That's the thing that pisses me off though. They say that like a lot of people will say Chip fucked off and did X, Y, and Z with Chris Brown and made Oops a Daisy and things like that. But at this time, they only say Chip because he had the biggest tune out of them all.
Exactly.
Everyone was doing it. Skepta were making Rolex Sweet. Why did he make Bossy? Why they wouldn't be where he is if he didn't make tunes like Bossy? There's so many huge tunes. Like Dizzy Rascal did it. He fucked off a time.
Look at Stormzy now, innit? Look at Stormzy now. Stormzy, he's class for what he's done in it. You can't doubt it. But
of course,
his transition now to doing like gospel tunes and stuff like that. Obviously, he's making millions. So you'd be silly not to, innit? You know what I mean? Fair play to him, but he has moved originally. He's grime, innit? You know what I mean? That's where he's come from.
That's the thing. But then it's like, where's the sort of line drawn where it's like, who's allowed to do what, and who can do this? Like, people were giving Chip stuff for shit for so long without him just dipping off. But he came back on the scene strong, innit? And no one can deny that. So it's one of them where Stormzy's like the only person that hasn't replied to Chip, innit? But he had that energy.
Well, that's for his own good though, that innit? You don't want to reply to Chip because he will get bodied. You know what I mean?
This is the thing though, it's like, I feel like Stormzy, like as much as we say, we may not listen to him, right, or whatever, and because he makes a certain type of music or whatever, but at the same time, like, you've got to appreciate it sometimes. He does make music now. He's not a rapper, he's a musician now. But if you put him, if Radar was still a thing or whatever, and you put him in there now,
you know each other.
He's spinning. There's 9 guys out of 10 are in the room. And the other guys are there. Probably gets or Chip that he's not going to spin. He's going to Chip's spinning. I don't want that. 100%. Some people like that, they're always going to be, like you said, even if he goes to that side, they're always going to be respected because that's his roots, innit? That's how he's come up. So you'll always remember him for that. It's just, like I say, it's a bit shit that he's done it, but he's making his money makes well.
Making his money, but he's talking about retiring now, Chip, after seeing Skepta.
He said it the other day that Skepta said he was thinking about retiring.
Do you think he actually will retire though?
I mean, just do a Jay-Z. Just do a Jay-Z. Just fuck off for a while, do your thing, make some more money, have some time with the song.
He'll probably like executive produce some fucking album or something, something like that. But surely, like,
he executive produced the Octavian album.
Did it? The one that didn't get released.
That's a crazy situation, though.
That is a very, very booky situation.
Disappointing situation.
It's like a day before his album dropped.
Trust me, I know it, bro. It actually is mad how it was all sprung up. But I mean, that's a society we live in nowadays. Something like that can just spiral out, and obviously, whether it's right or wrong, or if he did or didn't do it, like, what's happened from that? You know, you've seen what's happened to him now. He's not even. It was Sony, weren't he? I think.
They dropped him like ASAP.
So it's mad, isn't it? How social media and shit like that can just tip things on its head.
But yeah, man. So obviously, off the back of that, you say now you're on your way to releasing your debut album. So congratulations on that, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Looking forward to listening to it. But it's like on the run up to that, obviously, there's a, as we spoke about this again recently as well. The term mixtape and album. They're two different things, but now the difference between them is a lot less than what it used to be. As we say, we saw Central C go to number 2, the mixtape. Bare people are doing it. Would you class this as a mixtape or an album?
I'd class it as an album.
As an album, yeah.
Because like my ideal of a mixtape, is like, you know, like datpiff.com and all them like OG sites. Those are mixtapes, isn't it? Like back in the day when I was getting like Mac Miller mixtapes and Schoolboy Q mixtapes and stuff like that. The stuff that's not on iTunes and Spotify now, that's a mixtape to me. Or like when you've just got a bunch of like tracks that aren't throwaways, but they don't even have to correlate. That's why I said like Chip's recent thing was more of a mixtape, because it doesn't like match together. But with my album coming up, it's an album just because it's like a story following through.
You say it's a conscious, it's a conscious record that sort of flows.
So it's like more of a story of the tracks aligning rather than it being like, okay, slap this track here, that track there. So like my past projects have been like that. But this one has just been like, right, this needs to speak for what I'm trying to get to, and like just sort of like embody that sort of mindset rather than just putting tracks and showing I can rap. Right, it needs to be like, okay, this is what I want to talk about, this is what I mean here.
Do you reckon that's how you define it then? So an album will be more like storytelling almost, you know what I mean? Start to one, each one has a different story, whereas mixtape, like you said, it's probably just a couple of tracks that you've shelled out. You can slap them on it, you know it's hard. It doesn't have any real significant meaning to it, but they're still big tracks and you might just throw them on.
For me it's like an album. If you're going to make an album, that's something that, this is your art that you want to then market to the world, whereas a mixtape, it's just something you just go slap it out and go, yo guys, there's 12 new tracks
exactly.
out.
You might have 12 new tracks that are all kind of like the same vibe in it. Let's say if you do a mixtape, so I think of a mixtape, I might think of like, let's say a grime artist does like 6 or 8 to 10 hard tracks all going the same vibe, you know, but different beats in it, still going hard. Whereas an album, you could have 10 different types of flows. So again, thinking about Stormzy when he did, I can't remember what it's called, but he did tracks like Cigarettes and Kush and stuff like that, when it's all slow gospel music and stuff like that, and it's all different types of stories and stuff like that, and it's just, it's like you say, it's all gathered together to make one mad vibe that you can relate to so many different people, innit?
Even with like the mixing and mastering, you can sort of tell the level differences between like a mixtape and an album, where the album sometimes it's just like, it's so crisp, innit? Like when you hear like your favourite artist drop an album, you just know they spent time.
It's like when Gets dropped his album, and like even when it, like little things like when a track finishes and it goes straight into another. Do you know what I mean? Like when
that's different. That's like the way that he did that is different.
Mad,
it's so like, sick. It just, everything's just so seamless.
But
like the way
Mozambique, was like one of my favourite tracks of last year. And when he dropped it on the album, it come out different. There was the ending and the start was different, and the end of it, like zoned into the next track. I think the intro went into the first track of Mozambique, and it was mad. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like time into.
But that's with albums, like they take that extra care to like make sure everything's merging together, and it just sounds that extra bit dope. So like you've got your headphones in, then you're like, oh, this is transitioning nice.
Of course, and you know when it becomes vibe, and that's like me, bro. That's like me. I remember when you're saying it, and I listen to it, and I can hear the beat picking up, and when it's about to go to Mozambique, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yo, just knowing it. You know what I mean?
When I first did that transition, it blew my mind.
It was mad.
And then the whole album just as I say, it just seamlessly flows into one another. But like when I've been listening to your tunes, when I've been doing my research and whatnot, come on, what I've realised is like you make a lot of different sounds. So I would just definitely 100% describe you as a versatile artist.
Yeah, man.
But the word versatile, that sort of insinuates that you do different things because you can.
Yeah.
Whereas, do you do things differently because you feel like you have to, because there's different ways in which you can express yourself in those sounds?
I agree with the first thing you said in terms of like the fact that I can. I think it's more so because I've been doing it for so long and knowing how my flow sounds on certain things. Like some of my tracks will sound different in terms of like the period of time I've dropped it in. So like I'll be in like a different mindset like every year, innit? But now like this current project that I'm working on, everything sounds similar because it's like a current mindset rather than like back a day when I was just dropping sort of EPs and mixtapes. That would be like different sounds because I've done them over time even, and I'm like learning what sort of things I sound best on. But it was never because I had to or I felt like I had to, because I've never been one to like want to follow trends with music, because I've always felt like
sorry, I didn't mean it in that way.
No.
When I say like you make different things because you feel like you need to, it might be because like a lot of people see art as like sort of like a therapy in a way. You might feel like one day you might feel really sad and say, you know what, fuck it, I need to make a sad tune today. Whereas the next day you might think, you know what, gas, let's make a beat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it just depends on like mental state at the time, really. You know what I mean? And then like sometimes I'll get like a beat pack from one producer that I'm working with, and then I'll be like, say there's like 12 tracks in this beat pack, yeah. There'll be like maybe 2 or 3 in there that speak to me straight away in it, where I'll be like, yo, I gotta write to this right now.
Yeah, of course.
So like there's that aspect as well. But then like you can get some beats that you listen to, and then 2 months later or something, you'll listen to them again and be like, shit, why didn't I write to this before? And then you start writing to it, but it sounds different to stuff you've worked on previously because it's a different time period, different mindset, something could have happened, and then it's like different. But with the album, I've just made sure everything flows more seamlessly together, so it's like a same body of music rather than it being like stuff you can tell has just been like from mad different times. Like everything sounds different, but to the extent it's similar sort of things I'm talking about in the tracks, where it's about progression and just like what's going on in my life or what's been happening in like my friends' lives or stuff like that as well. So it's just like storytelling's always been my sort of vibe anyway. So yeah,
I hear that, man. So like you say, you have all these different flows, or you have different inspiration from stuff like that. Yeah. So you're involved in a group. Or you've been in a group, is it Roots Radix?
Roots Radix, yeah.
So even something like that, even working in a group with different artists, like you say, you can pick up different things as well, innit? Like what flows or something else that sounds good, and you might think you want to take that into your own work. So does that like influence you as well, working with these other artists to make your own sound?
For sure, like with Roots Radix, because we've got Lay Full Stop and Woody Green. Lay's like a singer from Birmingham and she raps as well, she's dope. And then Woody's like, he's from Zimbabwe, but he was like based in the United States for a while, so he raps with that American flow, innit?
Nice.
So this is why people compare our vibe to like the Fugees, innit? It's like 2 rappers and a girl rapping and singing, but it's dope. But Roots Radix defo inspired me because it's just like 2 different mindsets, and when all of our voices come together, it just like this makes this really nice music where a big audience, international, are really gelling with it as well. So that's like dope, and I'm like gassed about that as well. So I'd say working with other people defo is inspiring, because like I've always been an artist that's been like, yo, I like doing solo stuff and I want to like crack on with this. But when you're working with other people, you just get like a different sort of drive and like a different understanding of different sides of music and different types of people and stuff like that. So yeah, man, like.
Can I say, how did you get together then, you three? Was it was like a Birmingham thing? Or?
No, not even. To be fair, it was when I moved to Manny for uni in like 2013, and my older brother was already at uni in Manchester. He knew T, who's the manager of Roots Radix, rolled through to his studio, and he was like, oh yeah, do you want to drop a 16? I want to hear what you're saying, and just rapped for him, and he was like, yo, I've got a collective called Roots Radix, would you be interested in joining that? As easy as that. Yeah, pretty much, it was pretty mad. And then like with Lay, my old housemate at the time, like he's like cousins with her, so like he brought her up to Manny. Yeah,
she's cold.
She's dope. She's dope.
Yeah, she is cold. I mean, sorry for cutting you. I wrote a feature on for a Red Bull.
Nice.
A while ago now, and I featured Lay Full Stop because when I was looking into it, I needed to find some like sort of like diverse people to put. I couldn't just put straight road rappers.
Of course.
I needed a bit of diversity. You know what I mean? And I found Lay Full Stop, and she reminds me of like a modern Lauryn Hill, and some of that's what I thought of draw comparisons to with her. I think she's cold.
She's dope. So like literally working with them style of artists and just the caliber of their skill set is just dope, because it just literally inspires me to like do better myself as well. So yeah, man, it's a blessing working with them. With Lay, like my old housemate brought her through to the studio. Woody was in the States at the time, but then he was on Roots Radix before, innit? So like when he got back to Manchester, he was just like already part of the collective, and then we just started like making tracks together, doing shows together, and then just boosted like that, really. Like
that's sick.
Yeah, man.
Sick. Mad how things like that happen, innit? Like so stuff can align, like stuff's meant to be like that. Obviously you moving to Manny, going uni and that, and then meeting these people.
Exactly.
And it's just everything's mad. We were saying it on one of the other episodes, isn't it? Like just certain things happen for a reason, or you just 100%. In hindsight you can think like, I wouldn't have met this person, maybe something wouldn't have happened. It's mad how the world works.
It's crazy.
Bro.
It's crazy.
Like, things just align, innit? You know what I mean? Like it actually is crazy.
Exactly. Bro. Like you can meet like random people in like uni halls or something, and then next second they're the reason you're getting like
uni halls are the weirdest places. The weirdest experiences of my uni halls. Things I don't even want to say on camera. The weirdest experiences ever at uni halls. Are strange places.
Yeah,
so strange. But that's the beauty about uni, like because you meet so many different people from different places. Like our editor, that's my boy from uni, and he lives like just outside of London, like, I never would have known. But arguably, without meeting our editor, we never would have started this or whatever. Like it was only because Webs was available like that we didn't have to look fucking search
Like, all
bar
over the
live,
place
try
for
and
someone.
find.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly, man.
So
like,
it's strange how things just align and things just, you know, as Will said, just sit into place.
and
you know
it's like a
what I'm
massive
saying?
spiderweb sort of vibe where
Just
everyone
yeah,
just
it's
like
crazy.
links it up, like
Sure.
it's sick,
It's
man.
crazy.
It's sick,
It is
yeah.
mad,
It's crazy.
It is fully mad. It is fully mad.
So with this new album, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So remind me, what's it called? Remind
The
me.
Conception Drive.
The Conception Drive. So.
Yeah.
As I say, it's a very deep name.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing that aligns with the theme of the music.
Well, I'd say I wouldn't say the music's like overly deep, but I'd say some tracks are like really introspective, where it's like you're listening to what I'm saying, and you're like, okay, fair enough, I get it. Like, but then some of the tracks are like good vibes and stuff,
Yeah,
of course,
okay.
because we're still coming into summertime. Like, I ain't just trying to make people all sad and shit. I'm not like a sad rapper sort of thing like that. It's more like just stuff to make you think, innit?
Vibes, innit?
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
do. No matter what vibe you might be on, you've got to mix it on.
Exactly. So it could be like a really bouncy beat, but I could just be speaking that deep shit on it, but you're still bouncy to it. Like,
That's the shit I love the most.
Yeah,
The music that I love the most is my favourite rappers. I love all like the really like complex rappers like your Avelinos and your Wretch and your like your Dave or like your Young Tef and all that. Like I love those guys where you listen to a track, you think you've got everything. You listen to it again, there's another bar. But you find yourself 18 months down the line listening to it and still picking shit.
You catch yourself listening back, smiling at certain bars. Like certain things you can just catch and you think.
Exactly, and that's what I think. Like a massive part of music nowadays is like a lot of artists are making music for the moment rather than timeless music.
Yeah.
So there's like 2-3 tracks on my album that were made in like 2018, but they still resonate with me now, innit? So it's like that's always the sort of music that I want to be making rather than being like, okay, I'm hearing this thing popping right now, so I've got to make a tune like that. Because it'll just get drowned out by everything else that sounds like that. 5 years down the line, you're going to be like playing one tune, you'll be like, well, I'm not feeling anything from this. It sounds like this, that, and that. But then if you have like something like 50 Cent in the club, and it's not exactly like a deep tune, but everyone just gets gassed to it. If that goes off in a club or like your house or anywhere, you're still gassed. So,
it's funny you say that, innit? We were talking about that the other day about timeless music.
Man.
A lot of artists probably don't make timeless music now. A lot of it is in the moment and stuff like that, and like you don't see a lot of like a lot of records at the moment now. Probably you won't listen to in 10 years time.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas if we go back 10 years time, like you said before, like T-Pain. I was listening to T-Pain. Is it Can't Believe It or something? Like, oh, I can't believe it. I had this on the headphones there, and I was bopping it out, going everywhere, going mad because I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah,
like,
man.
and like stuff like that, it might be timeless, but nowadays, you don't really see that much timeless. It is a lot in the moment.
Yeah,
stuff,
in the moment,
whatever's relevant and stuff like that. So, do you think that's like a bit of an issue almost? Like,
I think
music coming
it's
up?
because like now it's just the youngers that are dictating the music scene.
Yeah.
So it's like 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds that are dictating the music scene, which is why it's a lot easier for that sort of like momentary music to actually become such a thing, because the kids of these days aren't really trying to listen to that deep stuff because the level of attention isn't the same as when like Tupac and Biggie and stuff were about, innit? Like the problems that were happening back then are still happening now, but to a different scale where because of social media and how much stuff goes on, people are able to just filter it out. So you can be like, I don't want to listen to like Kendrick today, I want to listen to like Playboy Carti, and you can just be like, today I just want to bops out and be ignorant, but then tomorrow I could be like, well, I want to listen to like To Pimp a Butterfly and be like, damn man, like, you know what I mean?
Nah, do you know what I mean? You make a good point like that, because like a younger generation nowadays, so like a lot of music at the moment, especially that's hot now, is like drill music. Everything. A lot of drill music, which a lot of people say is a lot the same because of like the same beats and stuff, but the way that influences the community and stuff like that, like it is crazy how music changes, and like I can't think of really maybe a lot of timeless drill music. But that's what's hot now, isn't it? That's what people want to listen to. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy how
it's true. But do you reckon that drill's going to end up like grime though? Where it's like grime still pops to like people like us that have loved it for time, like I even saw H say not too long ago, he was like grime's dead because his age.
For me, I think that I thought that was just a mad ignorant comment from him personally. You know?
See, to be honest, if I'm being honest, I think AJ Tracy said it the other day as well. So AJ Tracy dropped that new project about a basketball team. That was a bit ignorant, that a basketball team, but I can't remember who it was.
Flu game.
But flu game, that's it. So back in the day, I used to love AJ Tracy. Like I remember one of his first like Gimme Grind sets with like Trey Mission or something like that. That went off. And now I don't listen to the guy because I can't catch. It's not the same in it. And he was saying grime is dead because he come up from grime and then it's dead out now. And really, yeah, as artists now coming up, you don't really see who's the next big grime artist now.
Yeah, but I think
popping off now, and it's not like I don't like grime because I grew up listening to grime. Like, that was like the main thing for me.
There's just not enough good grime going about.
I think drill's the thing now, isn't it? Drill's what's hot. People want to do drill music. All the best people who would spit on grime will just do drill.
Exactly.
That's what's hot now.
Yeah,
I think why AJ Tracy has more of a right to say that than H though, for example, yeah, is because with AJ, yeah, like I understand, yeah, that H was there. H was spitting grime back in the day, yeah. H was 100%. He's on Risky Roads and he's done all that, yeah. But AJ Tracy, yeah, is a lot older than H. I think he's like 26 or something like that.
Yeah.
And AJ Tracy was always an innovator anyway. Back in the day, even though his stuff right now might arguably, in our opinion, isn't as good as what he did back then. To some people it is, but back then AJ started on grime. I thought, you know what, I can see this moving to a next place. Fuck it, let me get a drill beat and spit 140 BPM over it, and that's why he stood out. Do you know what I'm saying?
But so AJ back in the day was dirty, bro. Even
like Spirit Bomb and all them.
Oh, bro, Spirit Bomb. He dropped an EP, Made in Italy EP.
Yeah.
Bro, some of the beats on that was hard. He did a wifey rhythm, and it was like a remix that I seen, man, if I blast that now, I'll still bad to it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? But this new stuff, the flu game thing, like even the last project he dropped, it doesn't have me anymore. It's a different audience though, because like you say, that's the thing. Like grime almost is a platform to get big in the industry, and he's got to where he is now.
Big Zoo's doing alright.
Big Zoo's doing alright, but he's not really dropping bare tracks in it. He's doing cooking shows and that. Do you know what I mean?
He's still on a commercial level. Making grime.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like grime as a platform. As Big Zoo and AJ and all them might have come up together. But now look, he's got a cooking show and shit.
I've said this once. I think I've said this once on camera. But I interviewed DWE once,
man.
And like he said, what is grime, like genuinely, like what is grime? Grime isn't a genre anymore. Grime is people. You know what I'm saying? Grime, you think you look at Skepta, you'll go Skepta's grime, but is Skepta grime now? You still associate grime with it.
This is the thing with Skepta, because like even the beats that he's making now, they are him. When you hear the Skepta,
still, Skepta in it. He still has his spin on things. No matter what he does, Skepta has his own unique spin. Even if he just
for me, I think it's just evolved. You know what I'm saying? Like D-Double, like he's a grime. Like D-Double is the epitome of grime. If you listen to his last album,
that's hard.
There's only grime scene on there though. That's like drill record. They're all like it's like drill in it, but like it's just evolved. Yeah, no, it does. But
I think with them sort of OGs, it's like no matter what they spit on, like later down the line, because they've done what they did for that sort of genre back in the day, they're able to just dabble.
They're allowed to. That's what I'm saying.
You've always got respect for that, and they're like these pioneers of the game.
Exactly.
And they will always get respect no matter what they drop.
Exactly.
You can't take that away from them.
Yeah. No one's gonna spit over a rhythm gash rhythm anymore. That's not gonna happen. But the foundations are always there. You just need to realise that these times are a thing of the past. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Channel U, Radar, like it's all a thing of the past. Like now, you just need to take those foundations from what made grime so amazing and just integrate them into the new things like they're doing now. Do you know what I mean? They'll always stay alive to a certain extent.
I think grime will always stay alive with that sort of BPM of the flow as well, like because people just love spitting that fast-paced vibe. So you can do that on drill, you can do that on like garage music and stuff like that as well. So I think that's also helping it evolve. And garage is even making a little bit of a comeback now as well, which is pretty mad. Like
it's definitely got a market there, isn't
it? Yeah. So it's interesting to see what other tunes come out this summer. Like obviously I had like Lab Book Grove with Georgia and AJ before that popped off. So like then he made that West 10 with Mabel. So you can see it's starting to drip feed back into the scene. Like people are getting on those garage remixes and stuff.
What goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's always going to come back, and then in 3 or 4 years time, when fucking drill's not as popular anymore. Do you know what I mean? The next thing will be the next thing will just come. Do you know what I mean?
Like a new wave of music, and
I feel about it,
soon. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what that's going to be?
I'm trying to even remember when drill even started. What was the first drill?
Would you say Section Boys was drill?
Section Boys was like trap.
That's trap. Yeah, that's more trap.
7 for me.
6, 7,
the first drill song. If I think of the first drill song, you remember it's probably like Let's Learn.
That's what I was
going to say.
And then they're like 410 Skendo and
Some big tracks, but Section, like for me, cold.
Yeah, man. It's a shame what happened with them. Like,
No, it's not. It's not Section Boys anymore, is it? It's Smoke Boys.
Smoke Boys.
They've stopped
They
now.
just broke up.
You said you did an interview with it, and they
it's not
to announce in the country.
It's not fucking gone out. The interview's not gone out. You know who you are who's not put it out. You're probably not watching, yeah. But bro, fucking put it out.
Fucking put it out, bro.
I spoke with Littles and Sleeks.
Man,
section,
fair play, yeah.
I interviewed those guys, and they were basically just about saying how like they've just. Yeah, man, they were dropping that one last project, which was the drill project, and then that's it. They were done because, they were just. I think they were just tired.
Just tired of everything.
No.
Out of ideas, maybe.
Probably is.
Possibly,
Like I said,
maybe,
they got a house in the sticks or something like that, or fucking like a big mansion or something.
Yeah, I remember that. They said they were like putting blindfolds on girls to like.
Hey, that's rockstar shit, that, you know what I mean? That's where they are.
Yeah,
rockstar shit, bro.
That's in that position, isn't it?
Bro,
that's it.
Mad.
Blindfolded birds bringing them in here like that.
Welcome to Box Stop.
Imagine.
That's the thing. I think we're long past the day of like. It's not like the novelty's worn off, but like that's just today's music, innit? Like back then, it was like it was so exciting and so new, and it was like sort of like it wasn't accepted, which made it even cooler. Do you know what I mean? And like back then, it was like the shows were like a certain type of people would go to the show, and like it wasn't as just. I feel like it's great that it's commercialised. The fact that like this culture has such a say in the way that the music industry runs now. I think that's sick, but I think it's just like people I think are naive to believe that same feeling that they once felt at the beginning is ever going to come back because that's just what happens, do you know what I mean?
Times, people are changing it, music changes, scenes change, you know what I mean? Time changes all things.
Like the whole fan base is just like the younger generation and now becoming the main fan base, so it's very hard for like the older artists to like keep
There's a few MCs that like are killing it though, like have you like SBK? SBK does it, he's like boys a novelist, like a novelist is our age, I swear novelist is 22.
He's younger,
he's a young guy,
he's like 21, 22.
Nov's always been cold though. I saw him playing Urban Outfitters in Manny like.
Oh shit, no, I remember that. I swear to God, I remember when he
showed it, man. Like he's hard. I do rate Novelty.
Novelty, he's got his own thing now, hasn't he? He's got rough sound in it, so he has his own. It's like his own BPM in it, like a different type of music. He wants to get his own genre going, and someone younger than us, like doing shit like that.
He's an innovator.
100%.
He's never gonna. Well, I hope one day, fingers crossed, that Novelist gets like a number 1 or something.
Of course, you
can't really see it happening.
If he doesn't get it, it spitting, he gets it producing or something because he's always going to be in the music industry.
Novelist has made his money.
Bro, I can remember
Definitely.
some sets, I can't remember what it was, but like D-Double was on it, D-Double spitting on this, and he goes, I'm going to pass over to Novelist, the new leader, and Novelist is like 19 at the time, and imagine how gassed you'd be, and like, fucking hell, D-Double saying I'm the new leader,
trust me,
like, but he just knew in it, and he's always going to have that perspective.
And he's a smart kid as well, because like, when he was in the limelight, I remember like 2015, when he was popping, I watched him play Park Life in 2015, I was like, this kid's like 18 years old, and he's where I want to be already, I'm like, big ups to you know what I mean? And then like, you just like went behind the scenes a bit, and I was like, you're smart because you're not getting all that clout go to your head. You're just like, you're seeing what your worth is now. You're learning that there's different sides to the music industry.
He's big on that as well. He was big on that Novelist. Like I remember seeing his posts on Insta and that, like he wouldn't wear designer gear and that. I can remember there was a phase where he kept buying like Lonsdale trainers, and he was like wearing them, and then like he weren't fucking arsed. He was like, I don't need to fucking flex. I don't need drip and that. He's his own person.
Trust me.
He seems like he's got a wise head on his shoulders. If you walk past him in the street, if you had a conversation with him, you think he is a whale.
100%.
I mean,
man.
But like you say that there, like when you see Nova Part Life, and like you see he's where you want to be and stuff like that. So obviously, like every artist, you must have a strategy or a vision in place of where you want to be. But how do you intend to get there? What do you have in place in order for you to make those next steps and push through? Do you know what I mean?
I think the main thing with that, like whenever I've asked for advice from like people that are either higher than me in the music industry or like similar sort of things, it's always just maintain being yourself, innit? Because no matter how long the journey takes, I think the main thing of what I want out of my music is for people to resonate with it, from it being like me, innit? Rather than it being someone else's music and me having to like dabble in different styles of people's sort of vibe and flows to even get there, because then it's not me, it's just like doing it for the sake of money. But my main goal is just to be able to like be sustainable from my music, and be able to travel the world, play bare shows, live nice, be able to be like, tomorrow I want to get a flight to Sweden, innit?
Yeah,
From my music.
God.
Wake up and like go to sleep and you've made like what, like 10k off your streams or something, and then be like, well, I'm going to Switzerland today, innit?
Yeah,
but I don't care about the fame, innit? It's just like I just want like
just the
respect for what I'm doing, because I've been doing it for so long. It's more so understand that I feel like I'm a top competitor in the game, innit? So like that's the sort of position I'm trying to aim for,
See,
innit?
that's good. That's a good mindset. Looking at, we had a lad on here, who's acoustic, he plays guitar and a singer-songwriter, and he said the same thing. I think his label used to ask him and say to him, "Who are you? What do you want to be like? What is your image?" And it's just like you said, it's just being yourself. If you be yourself, and then obviously, and that prescribes like you're going out to the audience, or you're singing to whoever you're singing to, and like, you just have your own image, like you don't need to try and act on anything else.
Exactly.
You be yourself, your true potential will show through, and that was always what he was saying to us last time, and it is true. Because the people will see the qualities for who you are, innit?
Because like you see all those artists as well that have like those mad identity crises, like Miley Cyrus, innit?
Yeah,
right. Like, what happened there, innit? Like I watched Hannah Montana when I was a kid. I didn't just say that. I watched that, and the next thing I'm seeing her like riding on dildos on stage, and I was just like, this is how the music industry does people, you know? Like all these Disney guys are just getting like absolutely turned upside down, because it's just like, we want you to sell sex now to be this is you as an artist, this is what you're worth, and they start believing that's it, and they just get fucked up.
They don't have their own model in it. They don't be themselves. They just they just conform to whatever else wants.
That's why you say like the integrity, like you say, that's like the most important thing, because trends are called trends for a reason, because they go out of fashion.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, the trends, the integrity is what brings timelessness.
For sure. Yeah,
100%, mate. Like I say, just finding out who you are, find out your image, your sound, and what's good for you, and what you can produce. And if you find that and you're like content with what you can do and what music you can make up, you're gonna go places.
I think all artists as well go through that stage of like not knowing where they want to go with it or how they. So I had it for a few years as well. I was just like, went through a stage where I was like, shit, like I don't even know if I want to do music anymore. And then I was just like, you just go through like different like mental loops and stuff. And then like, I remember my last job was working a recruitment job, and then like I did it for like a month, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm never working for someone again. I made sure that I just pattern it with music and like my other bits. Like this is my clothing brand as well.
I saw that on your Insta. It's nice.
What's it called? What's the brand called?
Used to the Rain. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Instagram's here. Instagram is here. Put the fucking screenshot of the feed right.
Boom. Go hit it up. 100%.
But yeah, man. So that was sort of like when I was thinking, damn, music's getting too stressful. Let me think of a different avenue. I'd always been into clothes and streetwear, innit? So I was let me just make my own garments, and it really just kept my mind in a nice place for a bit. And then I was like, let me get back to music. You know what I mean? Like,
that's good though, isn't it? You can be a creative person in the music industry, but like you can see other things as well. Like,
exactly.
Your own fucking clothes and shit.
Man. Creativity's just always been my vibe anyway. I wouldn't feel sane if I wasn't creating stuff.
Me too. I'm the exact same. I go loopy if I'm not.
Trust me. Like, it's mad.
But yeah, bro. So like, as you say, like you work with like Lay Full Stop and that, and like obviously you're working, like your sound is definitely like in its own lane. It's different to a lot of the things that are like properly popping in Manchester specifically right now. So this sort of like, if you don't mind me saying, like alt rap sort of sphere that you're working in, like how do you see that space in Manchester right now? Like is it a nice little, got a nice little buzz about it? Do you know what I mean? Like where how is it, that whole movement going?
I think it's good, because like there had to be the right time for that sort of music to drop, and it weirdly enough happened because of lockdown, innit? People are in a different mind state now. Like not everyone is trying to hear jucking man's up and all that sort of stuff. Like people sometimes want to hear like, just how can I better myself? Like can I listen to an artist that I like and just feel like they're actually telling me something that's going to help me, rather than just shouting about something that may not necessarily be their story, or it's just repeating the same story over and over again. So I think with like the music that I'm making at the moment, it's resonating with people more because of the times we're in, really. So it just sort of came like full circle, where no one predicted a lockdown and a pandemic happening, but with it happening, it's also been a blessing for me, isn't it? But it's obviously a sad situation at the same time. But I think for career-wise and just like mentally for me, it's been good just being able to see that the music that I've been working on for so long is actually resonating with people like to another level.
It's mad, because the creative industry has took a massive hit because of what's happened, but so many people like yourself and other artists can just focus in it, like we said earlier on, you can just focus on your music and you can actually just put good content out there, or you can work on something that you know is going to be good.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? And each to their own, obviously, it might be a hit for the industry because you might not be doing shows or something like that. But you can still focus, you've still got the time to put
man.
in it.
And I feel like as long as you just realise your own path and you want to like stay focused on that, it's very easy to get deterred from stuff, innit? And just be like, well, I'm focusing on this one day, but then you get bored. But as long as you're just like, I have a goal in sight, like sometimes sacrifice the nights out and stuff just to like work in your craft or like hit studio, like that's things I had to learn as I was getting older. Because I remember doing like music videos and stuff when I was at uni and getting mashed up the night before, rolling through to music videos, hungover as fuck, and it was just not a vibe, and because you're just not fully being yourself.
What the fuck am I doing here? Foot's out there.
It dims your vibration, your energy. You can't like just be yourself more. You're just a bit tired. You like whatnot. But like obviously you learn that with age, really. So like for all the younger artists out there, just don't get fucked up before you shoot.
Don't get fucked up before you shoot. Get your heads on it.
Get your head screwed up, man.
No, I rate it though. I do rate it, but yeah, man. So like, how do you intend on moving after the album drops? What have you got in place? Are you intending to try and hit up some shows when you're allowed to? And
man. Well, don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I have got my third headline show booked for the 31st of July.
Jeez.
That's going to be popping off in Manchester, so I'll be headlining some other artists as well, so that's going to be dope.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then, so that's already a blessing, just knowing I've got a solid show coming up. So I'm gassed for that.
I was going to say, back to live shows and stuff as an artist.
Trust me, so gassed for that. And then, working on a collab EP with my boy Lowfly. Check him out, he's dope producer. Lowfly 47.
Okay.
He's dope producer, man. He's cold. And then couple like international collabs as well. Just like I don't know. I've been making friends with people in like the media and stuff as well. Just like getting those collaborations. Like Big Up Wordplay magazine, they've been really supportive of like my last 2 releases. Like Throat as well. Just a couple like media outlets and stuff where it's like, okay, they're understanding my skill set as an artist, and it's like building relationships in the industry. So you can, when you get to that position, it's easier to have that bridge there rather than just basically just pissing in the wind and not knowing where your music's going. Because that's how it used to be. I used to watch like my favourite artists just be like dropping a song on SoundCloud, it hitting like 50k views in a day, and being like, alright, let me do that. You drop it, it gets like 20 plays, and you're just like, I'm
gonna drop this, I'm gonna be banging out, and you're like,
and it's like you realise that you need to have like all this promo and stuff in place when you're taking it to that professional level where it's like, okay, I need to send this out to press on a week before, I need to do this and that, I need to speak to people, I need to make sure the album cover's done or the single cover's done, and like all those different elements to it where it's like, okay, it's a formula, it's a package, you got to make sure the package rolls out. It's like working anything, you don't just put things out, you trial and error it, innit? So it's the same with music really, so you just got to make sure, well for me it's just working on, just with different artists and like my craft more, so I know that I can get to that point that I want to get with it rather than just like getting distracted again and just like falling off and then coming back to it. I don't want to do that anymore. It's more so just staying to the game
what we spoke about before, innit? Like manifesting, innit? If you have your goal in sight, you know what you want, you know how to get there.
Yeah, for sure.
You work with other people, you know your own sound, innit?
Exactly.
Once you're putting the graft and in the work, eventually things are going to come, innit?
And like I said, visualising everything where you want to be just makes it easier, because when you get to that point, it's like, yo, this is crazy.
Of course, innit? You realise, innit? You put that work in, I bet it feels fucking good, innit? Once you're at that point, there's going to be no better release.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's the best thing.
Yeah, man.
100%, man.
That's sick, bro. That is sick, man. But apart from that, like, who are you listening to at the moment? Anyone sick? Do you know what I mean? Like, who's giving you the most creative fuel right now musically?
I've been listening to 12, who's a producer. Not too sure where he's from. He might be European, but he's dope. But he does like a lot of like lo-fi and then like just like samples and stuff like that. Artist wise, I listened to Flu Game the other day actually. I did like AJ's new album, to be fair.
Okay.
And then like I like Action Bronson, listen to his stuff, he's dope, and all his content he's doing as well. Who else have I been listening to? Playboy Carti, to be fair, I do like Carti.
Playboy Carti is so unique.
Like,
I was listening to
man.
old school. I heard a track the other day on something, and I was listening to old school Playboy Carti, and like, even like lyrically, his tracks aren't lyrically very good, but the beats and the production on them, bro.
Pierre Bourne, actually. Pierre Bourne, that's what I listened to.
Tell you what, yeah, they just the way they run through, yeah, it's just mad. It's just different to anything else, isn't it? It's like you got your headphones in, yeah, or you're listening to that in your car or something, yeah. It's a different.
All
vibe,
the beats just like absolutely rinse in my ears, bro. That's the vibe. Just the bass is like
a little thing, like a little ad-lib or something. He says, yeah, and he's like, and he's singing it in, do you know what I mean?
So true,
honestly, yeah, it actually is mad. That American like type of beat and shit like
that. Yeah, man. Like, there's very few mumble rappers I listen to. Like, I like Gunna, but I wouldn't really. Is he? Would you class him as a mumble rapper?
He's definitely evolved from that.
He's evolved, yeah. Gunna's dope though. Like, he's dope.
I like a lot of American rap. Me, like a lot of American, even like auto-tune music. I like Light call it, wave music. Wave music. Call it wave music, like. That American vibe on it, yes. For me, that's like one of the best things I listen to.
It's like just like the frequencies of it all, isn't it? Like when you're listening to it, and it's like things like Speed It Up, Gunner, and that. When you hear that beat, you're just like,
it's just there's a lot of big tracks. There is a lot of big tracks.
It works in it, and I can listen to that in it, no matter what vibe it is, and you're just like, fuck it.
Exactly,
just popping away,
man. It's dope. It's dope.
Trust me. Yeah, some of that American music, yeah, it's just fucking. That's what my fucking playlist is for. Even stuff like NBA YoungBoy and stuff like that.
Fair play.
I'm smashing shit off like that, yeah, just because it just pops for me. Like, it actually is mad. Like you were saying before, yeah, when you said about if a producer might send you a beat pack, yeah, so you've got like 12 beats, yeah. I've got a thing, yeah. I say a thing in it, like I've got something like if I can listen to a song, yeah, and I can listen to it for like 5 seconds, the first 5 seconds, I know if I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
Because I can hear the beat and I'm
yeah. True that.
Sometimes, yeah, I just know, and like I listened to a new track the other day. I can't remember what it is, but listened to a new track and I was like, fucking hell, I like it straight away, and then like 20 seconds in it's kicking in, I'm like, I know I'm gonna like it.
And then you're a fan, yeah.
I'm like, yes, I'm on this, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like even just a beat or like even something like a little ad-lib or something like that early on, yeah, it just catches you and you just fucking bop.
Yeah, man. I think that's also like a big thing with music at the moment. Like sometimes the beats are like what's actually making up for the track.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like what we're saying, like when we talk about Octavian, yeah, like Octavian is like the first one that came to mind. The reason his music's so sick is because of like the whole production around it and the way they put all the different sounds together. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like it's crazy, and like and I would say like the new Gets album. The reason that's so sick is because the whole way that the whole project's been put together, and just like the engineers
thought about
out of the booth
do
a lot more than what people think.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? That's why they're on such big wedge.
Trust me.
Man. That's what I mean.
Rather deserve peas, isn't it? You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's crazy.
100%.
I mean, I feel like even when those producers are working with these artists, they're going to be sometimes even way younger than the artist, and they're like been looking up to the artist, and they're just so much more gassed to work with them. They go that extra step harder, innit? So it's like one producer I'm working with at the moment called George Whitten as well. Like he made me some beats as well, and it was like personalized beats where he listened to like everything I'd made, and he was like, alright, this is your sound. I was like, yo, these are hard. And now one of the tracks is like on my album. I hadn't even seen the kid in 15 years. Linked up with him like last week. He came up to Manny with me. We made some stuff there, but like it's just full cycle again where you don't know the link ups that you've made in the past. They're gonna correlate in the future, and then it just ends up on like your first big project, isn't it? Like it's pretty mad. So man.
So are you releasing this project independently?
Independently.
Yeah. So like now the world's so much different now, where like people can work independently. Do you know what I mean? More than ever before.
Yeah.
Would you ever be interested by the opportunity of maybe signing, or would you prefer to keep it independent?
I think with me, I don't want to be like specifically on like a major label. Rather have like a publishing or distribution deal. So say like Sony or someone approached me. Distribution deal where like obviously they pay for like just all the advertising, all the promo, all that sort of stuff. That's calm, but I just want full control of my music, what I'm writing about, everything. Because if that gets like deterred from, and then someone else is telling me, maybe you shouldn't say that, maybe you should say this, then it's not my music
it's
anymore.
Not you in it.
It's some like marketing. You know what I mean? Like
you want to keep that same image of yourself. Man. You want your own sound, your own persona in it on display through any of your music or anything that you do. Releasing it.
Exactly.
100%. That's how it should be. A lot of artists should be like that. Even any walk of life, if you're in fucking music, you're in sport or something, you should always be your own person. You should always dictate what's best for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be like producers or something like a label or an agent or something like that. It might help you out, but you should always have your own say on what you want to do in it.
And I think it's scary for the younger kids that don't have that business mind as well. I was actually chatting to my pals the other day about it, where like the younger kids that are getting into the industry, no matter what craft you're in, it's like as soon as they're showing dollar signs or pound signs, it's like they forget all their morals, man.
Yeah.
It's
the thing
like,
is, they'll be shown this little bag that seems a lot to them. Realistically, like it's not that.
They might not realise your own potential.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of an agent almost, because they may see what little dollar signs they can give, they can receive triple that.
Exactly.
And they can just say, oh well, I can give you this at the moment, innit? But they don't realise they can see the potential in you, and then they can just utilise that almost.
Because someone told me about an artist that like one label approached them, can't remember which label it was, but they paid them like 10 grand for the song. Obviously they saw the potential, they probably made about 500k off that thing. And the guy's like, well I got 10k. Nah, bro. It's a long term thing, don't just rush to money.
Don't jump in it, bro. Don't let your eyes see the bag in it and think, I'm gonna have to jump on that. You got to, obviously that's where younger generation especially have got to fucking wise up in it.
Exactly.
And see what's good for them. You need people in your corner that are gonna help you with that.
And that they can trust as well, because it's so easy for these like headhunters to just find these new rappers online and just go into your DMs and like, hey, check this out, bro, I can do this, that and that for you. And then it's like, well, what are you actually looking for out of me? What am I, why are you so drawn to my energy that you want to contact me? What am I, like some big board of money to you, or am I someone that you have faith in, that you want to help develop?
Do you see the potential, or do you see the vision in the journey, bro?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Do you want to be with me for the long time, or do you just want to make a quick buck out of me?
Exactly, and that's why I'd always encourage independence over like just jump into like major labels, because they're never looking out for your best interest, man. They're just trying to mold you into their artists. Like,
AJ Chase has been independent since day one.
AJ was independent from day one.
I've said this, his for Flu Game, his marketing campaign about the entire album, it's one of the best ones I've seen.
Yeah, it's so Blackfield's Park yesterday.
Yeah, it was Blackfield, isn't it? But we got shut down that last release.
Bro, MSQ got fined like 10k for it, you know?
Yeah.
They've been fined 10k, bro. Shit. And that's Manchester Student Group, isn't it? So that's not exactly like...
That's not even their fault, isn't it? Nah, I've seen that. I think he was in Birmingham at 12, innit? And then he was meant to go to Bristol, and he had to cancel it to spend fucking put him in, innit?
Mad. That's mad.
It's bangers, that, innit? Nah, I didn't see that. I sent you a thing, innit, saying, United were playing at 4.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going. No offense to AJ, I was like, what United?
Yeah.
But I was like, fucking AJ's on 4, like, they were on, I would have fucking gone down.
Yeah, for sure, bro, yeah, man.
Nah, fair play, man. That's what I mean, someone like AJ, innit, he's his own person.
His own person.
No one's going to tell him, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that. You can just do it once, man, and that's what fans especially would love, innit?
That's what they're resonating with. They're not seeing him as like some industry puppet, they're seeing him as a guy they've watched from back in the day when he was doing like Road to like now, where he's like touring in America and all this stuff and having all these mad collabs.
You can't not disrespect the hustle, innit? Where he is like that,
Yeah, I can't fault it, like,
You can't, fair play to the fucking kid.
For sure.
Fair play.
But yeah, man, like, I can't really think of anything else that we could go over.
It's been a good chat, innit, bud?
Try to come in, talk about a lot of cool
stuff,
man.
I'm
looking at the boys in the back.
I love that. Yeah, it's been a good chat, innit?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
Anytime, you're welcome on any time that you like. Anytime that you like.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, brother, but yeah, I guess.
Big up, tell people where they can find you.
Big up, you can find me at ZZ The Pharaoh, Instagram, Spotify, ZZ The Pharaoh. Check out Roots Radix as well. Shout out the producers I've mentioned, like Low Fly, Ife Ra, George Whitten, Young Nab, all the Dunnies. Come on.
Bye guys.
11 locked off, innit?
I love next episode 11 locked off. Catch you next week. Respect.
Love
See you soon.
Album soon.
Back, go check out his fucking album as well.
Check that, innit? Go pre that.
Sick.